behind a lot of damage, what Phoenix community members are saying about the cleanup.
Plus, a family in Grants Pass' worst fears came to light. Their son has been diagnosed with a life-threatening condition.
If you didn't have the chance to get outside yesterday, today's shaping up to be a very nice day.
Watching out for you. This is NewsWatch 12 this morning.
Good morning. The time is 5 o'clock on Tuesday, August 20th. Welcome to NewsWatch 12 this morning. I'm David Alvarado.
And I'm Brinkley Hill. We're first going to check in this morning with Stormwatch 12 meteorologist Sarah Kress. Sarah, good morning. We are having another chilly morning when it comes to my books. I had to turn on the heat on the way here. So what are we looking like around the region?
Around the region, it is a very chilly start. I had to turn on my heat as well this morning. It was very chilly. Slightly warmer than yesterday over in Klamath Falls. Right now about 44 degrees. Yesterday was about 39 this time of morning, but it's not too bad right now. 55 into Medford, 49 over in Montague, along the coast, 53 into Brookings. Now, our air quality for this morning, Edna is the only place on the map that has seen some moderate air quality. Now, they're still very close to the Boise fire, but overall today, air quality isn't going to be one of our main concerns. It is going to be a very nice day to be heading outside. And temperature-wise, it still is going to be below average, but it's quite comfortable for this time of year. Down into Klamath Falls, 78 degrees, and up in Medford, 84. We are going to be seeing some periods of clouds throughout the day today, but overall it shouldn't hinder any of your sunshine that's going to be making its way through. Now, later we could expect some thunderstorms in the region. We'll talk more about where you can expect these in our next forecast.
Cleanup efforts continue after the weekend storm that brought strong winds, topping some trees in Phoenix, and some measurable rainfall throughout the region. NewsWatch 12 spoke with school officials and residents in Phoenix who are still cleaning their community up after the storm.
Hear what neighbors and the Phoenix Town School District Superintendent Brett Berry had to say.
We'll get all that cleaned up and, get it mowed and cleaned up, and kids won't know anything else besides, maybe less shade. Really seems like it had a concentrating effect here. I know everybody kind of got wind and rain and lightning and things of that nature, but the city of Phoenix really kind of took the brunt of it.
The rain was coming through, and then the winds just picked up with marble-sized hail. Probably about 60-mile-an-hour winds that were coming through, and the tree just came right over. We heard a sound and we weren't quite sure what it was, and then when we came through and looked out front, the tree was across all three driveways. I've been here almost 9 years. I've never seen anything like this.
And it went with thunder and lightning and rain, and the whole thing, it just couldn't stand up, and it was too tall. I mean, it was just too big of a tree for this location, and it just went over in the wind. 3 trees on the roof, and you can see that it took off the north side of this house. I mean, it went completely through the roof. Oh, it was terrible. I mean, this was what we call codominant tops with included bark, meaning that they all have been joined together at the base, and they all went.
The next morning, he started vomiting up blood, so I called 911 and they rushed him to the ER where they found out his kidneys were failing.
New overnight, a family now warning parents to take extra caution when watching children outside after their worst fears became a reality this weekend.
Their 2.5-year-old son was diagnosed with a life-threatening E. coli infection that resulted in kidney failure. The layman's nightmare began when her young son Hayden showed troubling symptoms. After several days of severe diarrhea and vomiting blood, doctors discovered that Hayden was suffering from a dangerous E. coli infection.
So we had to wait about 6 hours for them to be able to come down by ambulance and then transfer him back up. So we didn't get there until like 1 a.m. As soon as he got to the hospital, they hooked him up to dialysis to help his kidneys.
Hayden is currently receiving treatment at Portland's Children's Hospital. The family will remain in Portland until further notice while Hayden continues to recover. Laura also shared a conversation with the Oregon Health Department. They told her that E. coli is common in southern Oregon soil. Health officials say to make sure that children are washing their hands after playing outside. Although he remains in critical condition, Hayden is showing signs of improvement.
And on to the fire watch this morning. We're checking in with wildfires around the region. The Boise fire has now been active for 10 days in Northern California. It is just under 12,000 acres at this time and is 13% contained. Firefighters are looking for opportunities to engage directly with the fire on the east side, but are facing steep terrain.
The Dixon fire now 47% contained. Evacuation notices for this fire have been reduced. There are now no level 2 or 3 evacuation zones. The fire remains just under 2,000 acres this morning, and the recent wet weather and containment efforts have prevented new growth.
The Dixon fire has also seen extra help from halfway across the Pacific Ocean. Hawaii is the most recent state to join the Northwest Compact, a group of states, provinces, and territories that assist each other in fire prevention and suppression. 4 people traveled from Hawaii to help suppress the Dixon fire and to have the chance to train on a major incident.
The Warner Peak fire is now over 65,800 acres in eastern Lake County. Now 85% contained, ground crews continue to monitor hotspots near new containment lines. The Southwest Area Incident Management Team says their biggest challenge is currently the wind.
We're also tracking the Diamond Complex in the Umpqua National Forest, which is a total of nearly 11,000 acres and 38% contained. 20 of the 28 fires in the complex are now 100% contained. The nearby Middle Fork fire in the Crater Lake National Park is still 0% contained this morning at just over 5,000 acres.
After this weekend's rainfall, Jackson and Josephine counties are going to see a decrease in fire danger levels. That starts today. Lands protected by the Oregon Department of Forestry Southwest Oregon District will be reducing fire danger from extreme to high, and the industrial fire level precaution will decrease to a level 2. This reduction in fire danger levels permits the use of power-driven equipment before 10 a.m. and after 8 p.m. Other fire prevention regulations will remain in effect. And for the latest information on acreage, containments, campgrounds, and road closures, as well as everything that comes with fire season, you can download our NewsWatch 12 app and sign up for push alerts so you know when things change.
New this morning, after nearly 20 years of hard work, researchers at Oregon State University announced they finally have a map that will help protect the U.S. power grid. The 3D geoelectric map provides vital information to scientists, power companies, and others. It will help them understand how Earth's naturally occurring geomagnetic currents under the surface interact with the power grid. OSU researchers say this info will help protect the grid from extreme solar storms and the possibility of an attack by electromagnetic pulses.
Power grids can protect the big transformers that underpin the transmission network. And with that information, they're able to prevent brownouts, instabilities in the power grid, and in the more extreme cases, actual damage and destruction of the substations.
Besides protecting the power grid, this new map could help utilities and researchers identify areas to explore for natural resources. Those natural resources could be used for electricity like geothermal power.
This morning, a Grants Pass man is facing charges after police say he tampered with railroad track equipment and caused a derailment in Klamath Falls. And court documents say Craig Sadler trespassed at the Union Pacific Railroad yard in Klamath Falls. Callers to police say he was on the railroad near a lever that redirects the train to different tracks. And while a train was moving, Sadler pulled that lever that caused the track to switch. Now, that derailment caused an estimated $1 million in damages.
The Klamath County Sheriff's Office is now sharing details about an illegal marijuana grow site. The site was on Spring Butte Drive just outside of the town of Beatty. Take a look at these drone shots of this illegal grow site. More than 300 marijuana plants were seized and destroyed. 80 pounds of processed marijuana, cash, guns, and ammunition were also found. 3 people were arrested. 2 were from Tigard, Oregon, and 1 was from San Francisco.
This morning, we're continuing our coverage of Nagasi Zuber, the Klamath Falls man who's accused of kidnapping a Seattle woman and holding her in his house, which he is expected to be in court today. And he will appear at the Medford Federal Court at 9 a.m. It's the first of 3 possible days for pretrial conferences. And And according to court documents, the 30-year-old is set to face a jury in Medford starting on October 7th this year. That trial is expected to take around 3 weeks.
Yeah, Zuber is facing 8 criminal charges, including 2 counts of kidnapping. He's accused of kidnapping the woman from Seattle and sexually assaulting her on the drive to Klamath Falls, where he then kept her in a homemade cinder block cell. You can see those pictures right now. The victim was able to punch her way through that door of the cell, escape, and then flag someone down for help.